Hey basketball players, today's video I'm going to be talking to you about how you can defend stronger players in basketball. Let's get down and let's check this out. Okay, so in this first clip, we're going to be looking at Blake Griffin. He's going to be going up against a lot smaller of a guard, and we can really see what this guard does to be able to stop Blake Griffin's attack. Okay, so Blake Griffin gets that ball, and as we can see here, this guard is giving him space to shoot. Blake Griffin is not necessarily the strongest of shooters. He can hit down the three when needed, but again, not one of the better three-point shooters in the league. So he does give him a little bit of room. And as we can see, Blake Griffin also doesn't really want to shoot that three-point shot, especially when he has a mismatch in height. So what he does is he wants to basically back down this guard from the point. Now, what is this guard doing? Number one, what does he do? He stands his ground and he pushes out his hips to receive that hit by Blake Griffin. Even though this is a non-contact sport, there is still a lot of contact that can be made that is legal from there. He makes that contact with his hips, and Blake Griffin at this point knows that he could basically have his way with this guard. The guard is not very strong, or at least not as strong as him, and so he wants to start backing him down. Now, when this guard now gets hit back, what's he do? He has a leg slightly bent. Don't want to keep a straight leg. That can really mess up your knee if you get hit. You want to have a slightly bent leg, and then have this knee underneath their butt. The reason for that is now basically you're giving them a chair for them to now back you down with. And this can work for you and against you. It can work against you because it's going to hurt sometimes, but again, you can use it for your advantage. So he gets that leg in between his, and he's able to really withstand a lot of these hits, but he is giving up a lot of ground. He is giving some space every time he gets hit, and then he tries to stop him again by moving his hips into Blake Griffin's hips. But watch what he does now. He now, instead of allowing him to hit the third time, he removes that leg from behind or between Blake Griffin's legs, and that now basically is called what I call removing the chair. And now you can use it to your advantage because now that offensive player is expecting for there to be a chair for them to hit so that they can continue to move you out of their way. However, if you remove that chair, this is what happens. That player loses balance, and now he does not know what he needs to do. And of course, he misses the basket. Now in this play, they called the foul on him. As we can see, there was really no foul at all. There was actually an offensive foul by Blake Griffin because he pushed him out of the way because he was trying to get balance to try and, of course, not travel. So this is how you can stop, or at least one of the ways you can stop a stronger player. Now here we have PJ Tucker up against Blake Griffin. Now even though there is a huge height advantage when it comes to Blake Griffin, PJ Tucker is one of the strongest players in the league and probably one of the better defenders in the league as well. This is, even though there's a height disadvantage, there's still an advantage on the defensive side because PJ Tucker knows how to use his strength. And this is how he does it. He gives him a little bit of space. Enough space where Blake Griffin can't shoot confidently because he would get blocked, but also, or at least contested, but also enough room so that when Blake Griffin goes to attack, he can cut him off, whether he goes left or right, or stand his ground. And that's what we see here. He has that hand on the body. You can do that. Some refs could call it, but it's not really a foul unless you actually push the player. Now what you're doing here is not a straight arm, not a fist. You can have your hand out to the side like this so that you can really feel where that player is going to go. And now what we see with PJ Tucker is he gives him some space. He knows that Blake Griffin's either going to do a quick jab step and then go this way, or try to power through him. And that's what he is basically feeling, and now he's starting to give him space, as we can see by his hand leaving his side. You also want to leave that side when a player starts to bring that ball down into his triple threat, because if he swipes through and shoots, now it's a foul on you, so keep that in mind. So what we have here is he wants to try and power through PJ Tucker. Meanwhile, PJ Tucker is still giving him room between his body. He wants to try and get enough power and enough stance. As we can see, his head is quite far forward. He is able to now have a lot of his strength into his chest to be able to keep Blake Griffin at bay. And you can use your chest. Now, of course, he did reach a little bit there, and Blake Griffin did push his arm off. In a youth league, that would be a foul, either a double foul or possibly a reach-in. However, now what we're going to see is a quick body in. He keeps his chest strong, and now that is a little bit of a push-off by Blake Griffin. And because of that, now if a ref was able to see that in a youth league, they would definitely call that a foul. But because of using his chest to keep Blake Griffin at bay, using his chest a second time, now Blake Griffin is forced not to be able to attack the rim, but by now going up on 1 foot and shooting that shot, which is a very inconsistent shot, especially for him, and he of course airballs that shot. That is very good defense by PJ Tucker. So now it looks like this is Aaron Gordon, but I could be wrong. I don't follow the Rockets all that much other than for James Harden, but what we have here is a very good defensive stance. So what we have is being very low, not giving him any space at all, and actually have both of your hands on his body. Now again, this could be construed as a foul against some referees. Most referees won't call that a foul because his arms are bent and he's not really stopping that player from going anywhere. He's just making that player feel very uncomfortable. Now that player could swipe through those arms and be able to get a foul, so keep that in mind as well. But what he does here is he turns his side to that player, which now allows him to take one hand off, or at least forces that player to take one hand off. He can't have his hand in front or else it's a foul now at this point. And from here, what we have is a quick, hard hit. He's able to stand his ground, use his chest against that back. Remember to keep your chin up or else you're going to get knocked out. And from there, he now forces Blake Griffin to do a very bad fadeaway type hook. That was not exactly what he was trying to do there. And of course, it's a miss. Now, this would work better if he was a lot lower. But by having that chest into him, he wanted to turn around totally and shoot. We can see that by where that ball is. Now, another thing that we see here is now his hands are down, but his hand was up for a second, and he probably thought about blocking it. That's why he brought his arms down to get momentum to get up there, but there's no way that he's blocking that shot. But that is a very uncomfortable shot for Blake Griffin and most players in the world. So by playing defense like this, you can also help stop bigger players from scoring. I hope that this video helps you be able to defend taller, bigger players. If it does, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.